Who are we voting for? Meet the candidates. Who Are We Voting For was created so we could understand who the candidates are and what they are about. This is not an endorsement for any candidate. This is for the voter to be more educated about who we're voting for.
Hello, I'm Anthony Deluca. I'm the managing attorney of Deluca, Rossetti & Konechka, a law firm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I grew up in the Pittsburgh region. Had a sister, two parents who were both teachers. I'm very proud of the work they did. I went to public school and eventually went away to Boston to go to college. I went to Boston College. And then having missed the Pittsburgh area and loving the Pittsburgh area, I decided to return and go to law school at the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. While I was there, I lived in Oakland and had the great opportunity to attend that school. Very proud to say that while there, I did well in law school and I graduated magna cum laude from the University of Pittsburgh Law School. My entire family is from the Allegheny Valley. So my grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, all lived up in that area in the Sharpsburg, Springdale, Aspinwall area. So I'm a proud Pittsburgher, haven't left since, and will always be here. Very proud of my roots. My sister is now a physician. Of course, I'm a lawyer, and unfortunately, I lost my mother in 2002, but she's always with me. She lives on through me, and many of the things that I believe will make me ultimately a good candidate for this office come from the things that she instilled in me. Very proud of my father too. We're very close. He lives near me now in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, and we spend a lot of time together. And he's my #1 supporter, and I love him to death. So I'm very fortunate to have great families, and I recognize that in my life and realize what an advantage it is. And I'm always mindful of individuals who do not have those advantages. I'm very proud to be here before you today and running for this office. So I have tried well over, and I would say it's several hundred cases in the courts of common pleas and the federal courts in Western Pennsylvania. I believe for the position that we're seeking, Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County, an individual must be familiar with the courtroom and have the knowledge of how to handle evidence, how to run a courtroom, and how to make sure justice is preserved. Given my experience in the courtroom, actually working physically day after day in the courtroom, that puts me in a position to be able to control a courtroom and be able to have the knowledge of how to make the correct rulings in the courtroom. There's two things in my background that I believe that I will emphasize concerning my qualifications for this office. And they're things I'm most proud of in my career. The first one is that I have a passion for helping those with mental health challenges in the criminal justice system. I was part of the small team that developed mental health court here in Allegheny County, and I would like to continue that work from the bench. Look, a lot of people and a lot of candidates talk about, helping people with mental health struggles, and that is wonderful, and that's what we need. But I am the only candidate that actually has nuts and bolts experience within the court system, creating programs to improve opportunities for individuals who have those struggles. We need to, we need improvements in the system. Some of those are more legislative, but some of them can be done within the judiciary as well. So my #1 reason for running is to correct or to help with those issues. The second thing I'm extremely proud of is I am a union labor lawyer. I represent many Teamsters locals, working families throughout our region, and I'm in the fight every day for working families for better wages, health care, working conditions, etc., just to generally improve their lives. What I would say to you, and this may be shocking, is that there are 43 positions on the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas, and there is not one former union labor lawyer, let alone one who's dealt with public sector employees, which is the type of cases that come before the court. And I would submit to you that we need that type of representation on the court so that we have a full range of experience to understand the issues that come before the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. I was part of the small team that developed mental health court here in Allegheny County. There are so many people, the vast majority of people who are in the criminal justice system suffer from mental health struggles and addiction struggles. And so we need courts, and we have courts, and I've developed courts that help individuals with those issues. There are improvements that can be made to that court. Look, in an ideal world would have more resources in the community to prevent people from even getting in those situations to the criminal justice system. What we're left with in reality is that the criminal justice system is a great place for us to find people that need help. And we have to provide that help. There are improvements that can be made to these courts. I would love to be a judge involved in ruling on these to show the patience and understanding that it takes for people to recover and to fight to improve their lives. So I am in a position with my actual experience helping people with mental health struggles to take the reins of those courts and to work very hard to make those improvements, whether that be moving the resources up further in the criminal justice system so the person doesn't have to wait for months in order to ultimately get the treatment and enter the court that they need to do, again, showing the patience that is needed to allow people to go through recovery. Also, I would say to you that there's a lot of attacks on unions at this particular point in time in our society. And, while I must always rule based upon the facts and law if I'm successful in achieving this office, it is important that the bench, the group of judges in Allegheny County, have somebody with the knowledge of how all of these issues work, how the law works in the union setting, how the law works vis-a-vis public employees. Because if we don't have that understanding, then every time a lawyer comes into the courtroom, the judge must be educated on the issues. And because they haven't worked with it, they won't get up to speed as quickly. So I think it's extremely important, based upon my history, that we have somebody with my knowledge, experience, and ability on the bench. Qualified to serve as a judge on the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. I have practiced in all 4 divisions of the courts. There are 4 divisions in the Court of Common Pleas in Allegheny County, and I have tried cases in every one of them. The family courts, I've done extensive juvenile justice work. In the criminal courts, I've been a criminal defense attorney for over 20 years and was involved in the development of mental health court and still represent pro bono many individuals with mental health struggles in the criminal justice system. To help individuals who are experiencing homelessness, I have worked with the Homeless Children's Education Fund in order to help their individuals as they intend to keep children who are experiencing homelessness connected to the school system. I work with any of them who run into the criminal justice system in order to make sure that their cases don't end up disrupting their schooling. I work with the civil courts. I've handled union matters there. I've tried cases, both plaintiff and defendant in those courts. And I've actually worked in the orphans court, which is the one nobody understands what it is, which is where estates are processed, adoptions are done, guardianships are done. And I've handled all types of those cases. So I am ready on day one to handle whatever assignment I receive from the president judge in whatever court I'm assigned, to have at least a base of knowledge in order to get started and hit the ground running. A couple things, I think it's important is that a judge should be compassionate, they should listen, they should understand. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful wife and 3 children still living at home with me. And, as any parent will tell you, working with kids will teach you all of those qualities. You care about them, and you have to care about the people in front of you, but you also have to listen and be compassionate and understand how best to help them. And so that's my background, and I believe all of those things in combination make me qualified for this position. I think the broad range of supports and accolades that I've received show the reasons that I should be elected to the Court of Common Pleas. First, let me start by saying the most extensive review that any judicial candidate receives for their career is the Allegheny County Bar Association, which has a judiciary committee. That judiciary committee gives us a many-page questionnaire. We have to provide writing samples, references, and all of those items are checked and reviewed by a large committee of fellow attorneys. And those attorneys also check the references, call other people in the system, judges, et cetera, to verify the facts and to learn about the candidates. Then there is a mini review by a small group of attorneys, and then there's a full interview before a large sector of individuals. No other process delves as deeply into our careers as that process. And I am proud to say that I have been highly recommended by the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas to serve as a judge, which is their highest recommendation. And I've held that recommendation for many years now. Now, as far as my career goes, I've worked at all of the courts in Allegheny County, all of the divisions of the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas, which is a unique blend of experience. I've been involved in helping people with mental health challenges in the criminal justice system. I'm a union labor lawyer, and we don't have that experience currently serving as a judge in Allegheny County. And I would tell you this as well. You know, I am an individual with the compassion, patience, knowledge, and understanding to be a judge. And I have had the opportunity to work with all individuals on all sides of the court systems, which puts me in a position to understand individual situations on all sides and to render fairer and more complete decisions. You know, I started my career serving for judges. I worked for a Pennsylvania Supreme Court justice as well as a Pennsylvania Superior Court judge. And I learned from the very beginning the type of process a good judge must go through in order to reach the appropriate decisions, determining facts and applying those facts to the law to reach the appropriate decisions. I'm very proud of my career. I'm endorsed by the Allegheny County Democratic Committee. I'm endorsed by the Allegheny County Fayette Labor Council. I'm endorsed by the 14th Ward Independent Club and many, many individual unions and other organizations. I believe that broad range of support is evidence of the fact that I am prepared, able, and will serve well as a judge. Because of all of those things, I ask you humbly for your vote on May 20th or in the mail-in ballots for one of the 8 positions in the Court of Common Pleas. I would be honored to have it, and I would be proud to serve you as a judge in our county.